Invite viewers to post their location and local time, because somewhere right now, it's evening traffic, somewhere it's sunrise over a quiet street. And here in Philadelphia, the late sun glints off the Atlas Financial Tower as Special Agent in Charge Derek Coleman steps out of an unmarked sedan in a tailored suit. He looks like he's on his way to close a $1 million deal, not conduct the kind of covert reconnaissance that could make or break a major white-collar crime case. It's 7:15 p.m., most employees are gone, security is light, and his plan is simple: move like he belongs, take quiet mental snapshots, note camera positions, and prepare for tomorrow's full-scale operation. Inside, marble floors echo under his shoes. He passes the directory, eyes scanning for the 3 companies tied to the fraud web. 15 years in financial crimes has taught him to see in layers on the surface, just another glass tower. Beneath it, a network of shell corporations, cooked books, and money laundering. He's halfway through a mental note on a camera blind spot when, in the security room, Nathan Barrett leans forward over a monitor. Barrett's gut has always been his so-called "Gif the Brags." It's like how ancient Romans claimed to predict the future by studying bird guts. Historians still argue whether that was more accurate than modern professional instinct, but Barrett's convinced he knows trouble when he sees it. And tonight, trouble is a 6-foot black man in an expensive suit, looking in Barrett's eyes, out of place. Within minutes, 3 patrol cars roll up. Coleman, unaware, continues floor by floor, jotting encrypted voice notes. The elevator opens to reveal 3 officers blocking his path. Police stop right there. The lead Tanner is that jaw-clenched look like he's been waiting all week for a scene like this. Coleman stays calm, hands raised, voice even. Barrett steps off another elevator like he's entering a Western shootout, points at Coleman, and announces, "That's him." Tanner demands ID, pointedly ignoring the federal badge tucked right behind the driver's license. Coleman's mind runs the math. If he flashes the badge now, the operation is blown. So he plays along, memorizing badge numbers, letting them walk him out past curious lobby onlookers while Barrett narrates for the crowd like he's auditioning for reality TV. Out on the sidewalk, with no audience but the night vision camera over the door, Tanner leans and closes, warning barely coded. Coleman just watches, recording every detail in memory. By the time he's in his car, phone buzzing with a call from the FBI director, he already knows tomorrow there will be 2 investigations instead of 1. Morning light bounces off the Atlas Tower's glass like it's daring someone to try and breach it. But this time, Derek Coleman isn't slipping in quietly, striding through the revolving doors with a dozen agents in full FBI windbreakers behind him, their gold badges flashing like a wall of sunlight. The same lobby where he was paraded out the night before now turns silent, save for the click of camera shutters from startled onlookers. Every agent's wearing a body cam. Every movement is deliberate, and Coleman's credentials sit front and center for all to see. Barrett's mid-sip of coffee in the security office when he spots Coleman on the monitors. The mug freezes halfway to his mouth, coffee sloshing dangerously close to the edge, because now that suspicious character is leading a federal raid. He fumbles for Tanner's number, skips dispatch, entirely mutters, "He's back, and they're all FBI." Tanner's still wrestling with his uniform when he arrives in the lobby 7 minutes later, only to find agents spreading across the building, securing offices, seizing documents, and moving with that crisp efficiency that says everything is already under control. Coleman doesn't gloat, just works. He slides federal warrants across the desk to a stunned replacement guard, detailing exactly which floors need immediate access. When Barrett tries to stammer an apology, Coleman barely glances his way, redirecting him to Agent Rivera for cooperation. Rivera's calm but firm presence makes Barrett twitch, maybe because Rivera's Latino and clearly in charge of him now. Then Harold Westfield, the silver-haired owner, sweeps in like a man used to getting his way until he sees the wall of FBI windbreakers. Coleman greets him by name, recites the crimes under investigation: securities fraud, money laundering, and slides over another warrant. Barrett tries to whisper in Westfield's ear about yesterday's incident, but Coleman interrupts, inviting Barrett to explain, in front of his boss, how he'd reported a federal agent as suspicious based solely on my appearance. The air in the lobby thickens. Westfield distances himself instantly, claiming no knowledge, but Coleman points out the call log showing Barrett phoned him right after the removal. Tanner chimes in about standard procedure, and Coleman's voice stays even, just as it's standard for the FBI to investigate potential civil rights violations alongside financial crimes. That one-word violation lands like a gavel strike. Upstairs, agents collect evidence for 2 cases now, documenting discrimination with the same precision as financial fraud. Media vans start rolling up outside, tipped off by someone who couldn't keep quiet. Coleman fields a call from the director, gets approval to expand the scope, and turns back to the trio Westfield, Barrett, Tanner with the kind of calm that feels colder than shouting. We'll need all footage from yesterday. Barrett tries the "some cameras might be down" excuse, but an agent's already securing the system. The message is clear. This isn't just payback. It's methodical justice in real time. By the time the last evidence bag leaves the Atlas building, the dominoes have only just started to fall. Within days, Westfield's empire is unraveling shell companies, falsified returns, investor money flowing offshore like it's a hidden creek in the desert. What began as $47 million in suspected fraud balloons to $68 million as more victims come forward. Coleman briefs the task force, drawing the parallel no one misses. Westfield's impenetrable corporate facade mirrored Barrett's vigilant security booth designed to keep out exactly the kind of scrutiny now dismantling them. Barrett's put on administrative leave by midweek. An internal review of security footage confirms what Coleman documented: people of color were stopped and questioned 8 times more often than white visitors, with no difference in actual clearance. The lobby where Coleman was humiliated now has a new non-discrimination policy in full view and new personnel behind the desk. Tanner's department opens an internal affairs investigation, bolstered by the female officer who came forward and by other colleagues who admit this wasn't an isolated habit. Historians still argue whether change comes from within or only under pressure, but here, federal oversight has arrived like an avalanche. Weeks pass, and the case widens. The Department of Justice merges the civil rights investigation with the financial crimes case, officially linking the bias in building security to the shielding of illegal operations. Westfield tries to rally political connections, but those calls monitored under the fraud warrants only add obstruction to his charges. Barrett attempts a TV interview, waving intuition like a golden ticket, but without specifics, he just sounds like a man building a treehouse with no hammer. By evening, he's fired. Tanner's suspension turns to termination once body cam archives show a pattern going back years. In court, Coleman testifies with quiet precision, making it clear this isn't about personal vindication, but about systemic accountability. Westfield's bail is denied. Barrett's civil case ends in penalties and training mandates. Tanner faces potential criminal charges for civil rights violations. The final ruling doesn't stop at punishing individuals. It orders reforms in security practices, police training, and financial oversight across the district. And then the story slows. 6 months later, Coleman's at the FBI Academy speaking to a graduating class. He tells them about the case without dramatics, explaining how misconduct often travels in pairs, the crime itself, and the structure that hides it. He talks about reforms now adopted nationwide, from data-driven bias checks in security to proactive pattern reviews in policing. In the audience, a few officers who'd once been afraid to speak up now lead those very reforms. When Coleman drives past the Atlas Tower these days, the lobby plaque doesn't name him. It doesn't need to. The real monument is invisible. All the confrontations that never happen, the careers unblocked, the days that move forward without someone having to prove they belong. Justice, he reminds a young agent riding along with him, isn't just about the fall of the guilty. It's about building a world where fewer people have to stand in that lobby in the first place.